This Friday, your favorite emotions are back on the big screen in Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
It's time to greet your Team Riley. It's anger.
Let me at him.
Fear.
Safety checklist is complete.
Disgust. Ew, ew. Sadness is in the house. Oh, no.
Hello, I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions.
Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
There's a part 2? We're going!
Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Matt, we are back with another mail bag full of goodies. We've got some sweet emails. We also
The bag is full.
The bag is full. We've got a few things that we also are going to just kind of quickly discuss and react to. One thing I'm going to talk about, I could not find anywhere. Searched high and low.
Ooh.
Al appeared in a short film in the early 90s called The Fan that I believe was written and directed by Emo Phillips. And from all accounts, it apparently is a very dark comedy about an obsessive fan played by Al Yankovic that is only played at like 3 random film festivals in the early 90s. I checked all of the spots that I could think of to find it. I was unsuccessful in finding it. If we do somehow come across a copy of it, we will tackle it in the next mailbag episode because I'm so curious about this.
Wow, I'm. Where did you even
IMDb
find that?
IMDb. Every time we're about to do a mailbag, when we're finishing an album cycle, I check Weird Al's IMDb credits to see what TV shows and movies he showed up in, and I happened to see The Fan was on there.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now. Weird Al Yankovic finds Judy Tenuta is an obsessive fan. Unfortunately, he soon realizes that she is just an obsessive fan and not necessarily his. That's the whole synopsis. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, you know what? People out there have found us, well, not deeper than that, I guess, but people have found us some crazy stuff. So if you somehow are sitting on a copy of The Fan,
yeah,
it
says it's 16 minutes long.
I would love to watch it for the show. Now, I did send you a link of an email with a couple links for us to look at. And I want to tackle the 2 things that we learned about in the last mailbag episode. One is this insane live mashup that Al does of Polka Your Eyes Out mixed with Polka Zone 45.
Yes.
Insane.
Well, it is. It's also... It's funny because that's how it's listed, as Polka Your Eyes Out and Polka's on 45 as a mashup. But at the end, he also does Hot Rocks. He ends with Jumpin' Jack Flash into... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, it's not It's not Hot Rocks. It's Jumpin' Jack Flash into My Generation, which is not...
That's Polka's on 45.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I got the Rolling Stones thing threw me off for a second there. I was like, wait a minute, is this also another thing? No, it's not. It's wild. And it also seems like... I'm really curious, like, what would have motivated them to do that, because we say all the time how much work goes into assembling these polkas, and then trying to, like, move pieces in and out seems like a tremendous amount of extra work. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they just wanted to revisit Inagata Davida.
Yeah, they just really need to get that specifically.
It's a great clip. It's also fun just seeing all these like people who look like they're like middle-aged parents on vacation sitting in white folding chairs watching Al and his band dressed in like German lederhosen doing the song. It's just the whole scene of it is really, really a treat. It's great.
It's delightful. And then equally, if not slightly more delightful, is the song Al's Band from the band Al's Band from the album Al's Band.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
So this came out in 2008.
Yes.
And it is people, you have to listen to this if you haven't heard it, guys. It's on YouTube and stuff. It's just called Al's Band by Al's Band. It sounds like, first of all, I love the fact that in the instrumental they put all this fake accordion.
Yep.
So it sounds like it could be like an Al song, sort of. But the way that they put the lyrics in this song is as if they are making it up as they go. Like everything about it is if they are like just throwing in like, like I'm looking at the lyrics again now. And of course I don't remember all the phrasings because it just seems so arbitrary. It's just like they met Steve and he became the bass man. He knew Jim who played guitar and then Al had his band. And the whole song is like that. And it's really fun, but like something about the way it is composed, like actually stressed me out. It was almost upsetting. I kept thinking about like, how did they make this? Like, what was the plan? Because it really seems, again, like they just like made it up on the fly. But then the guitar, there's like a guitar following the melody of the lyric, which means that it was probably written that way. And it's hilarious and has a lot of like the full story of like from the very beginning, and it ends all the way at them doing Straight Outta Linwood.
Yeah.
And talking about making White and Nerdy. So it's a great, almost the entire career documented in stressful song form.
Just specifically just to stress you out.
I mean, it really, like by the end of the song, I was like actually being like, is this almost over? Because this is starting to really do a number on me. And that's not to say I didn't like it. I loved it, guys.
So
great job.
The last two things that we have to talk about before we open up the mailbag. This is the final time we'll talk about an Al cameo in a Naked Gun movie. Naked Gun 33 and the Third definitely has the most to do in this one. And I mean, the part that made me scream out loud because I never even thought about it is that his date to the movies is Vanna White.
Vanna White. That's a dream come true. Literally. You get it, guys? Do you understand the joke? He did a song about having a dream about being with Vanna White.
And then just he has that great line. He goes, "Looks kind of like Phil Donahue." When trying to describe.
Well, I also love the idea. There's something so funny. So Al and Vanna White are dates at the red carpet for the Academy Awards, and oh my God, why can't I remember
Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah. I kept wanting to say Liam Neeson. Yeah. It's like that's not it. Leslie Nielsen and his partner are trying to sneak in, but they're like, oh no, movie stars only. So they basically like abduct Al and Vanna and just change into their clothes.
Yeah.
As if that's like a viable disguise, because they're just wearing tuxedos and stuff. Like so then they are wearing
just regular
like tuxedos and fancy dresses, and they give the security guard a card, and he just goes Vanna White and Weird Al Yankovic and looks at these two and goes like, all right, cool, sounds good. Go on in. And then then you get to see Al and Vanna essentially in their underwear explaining to security how they got mugged basically. And yeah, Al says he looks kind of like Phil Donahue.
Yeah, old guy looks kind of like Phil Donahue. So,
and then the in unison, the two of them look over and point and go, "There he is!"
Yeah, which is also really funny because if I'm remembering the movie correctly, Leslie Nielsen gets pulled out on stage because Al's also giving an award away that year. Like he has to do like announce who the winner is. And the joke is that there's a bomb hidden in the Best Picture envelope. So Al's giving out the Best Picture award at this award show. And when he opens the envelope, he sees it's a bomb in there and he yells, "It's the bomb." And all of the people from whatever I guess was the worst doing like the film that did the worst all just jump up and start celebrating to come up and get their award, which
oh my God
predates something that actually did happen one day at the Academy Awards where the wrong movie got read. And then
that's right.
The last thing, and then we'll open this mailbag, is I don't know what Circus of the Stars was, but I definitely felt like we could have lost Al Yankovic in 1994 when he appeared on it, and I can't tell if there's like trick camera work happening here or if it's just legit, but I was on edge. I was like, this is terrifying because I don't like heights.
Al, okay, so it's described as a sway pole. Now maybe there are people who know more about the circus than I do. I was not familiar with this idea, but it's basically this enormous pole that just goes way up in the sky. They said it was like 60 feet tall.
Yeah.
And Al climbs up this thing there is no visible harness, net, wire, anything on him.
Nope.
It really, really seems like, I don't know if this was a trick, but it really doesn't look like it. And also, I did think to myself, this is around the time in history where I feel like people were more, I don't know, I don't know. I can believe that Al actually did this. Nowadays, the idea that anyone would be asked to do something like this is just unfathomable, that he would climb this thing. But he does it. He gets to the top, and there's like little ropes that he sort of like puts his foot in or around, I guess, to sort of hold him in place. But he does a full-on like acrobatic routine on top of this. It is crazy.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
He stands up on the top of this thing, so he's got nothing to hang on to, and he is just standing vertically at the top of this pole. He like lays across the front of it, like he puts his arm out and is doing these sort of like bends. He then hangs upside down from the base of the pole, and as sort of like a joke thing, I'm sure Al knew this was going to happen, but the audience did not, that as he's hanging upside down, the pole is sort of released and swings around, and then it's almost like a carnival ride, that now it's swinging back to earth, and now he's standing upright because he was upside down from above. It was so impressive. Was it Alan Thicke is the host?
Yes.
And he is talking. Al is up there doing all this stuff, and Alan Thicke is on the ground just going like, oh, you got to just appreciate like what a tremendous amount of concentration it takes to do this. And then from way up in the air, Al just goes, shut up!
It's awesome. You can just literally search Weird Al Circus of the Stars on YouTube. You'll find it. It's definitely worth the 6 minutes to watch.
It's great. It's also, was it actually next to, it says they're next to the Moulin Rouge. So are they actually in Paris doing this?
I mean, maybe. I know
it looks like the actual Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I know nothing about this show, but maybe this was a huge deal in the early 90s and we were just too young to realize it.
Maybe it was. I have no idea.
Like this was like their version of like the Battle of the Network Stars was the
maybe,
Circus of the Stars.
The other note I had here that I loved is at the very beginning, they're talking to him and they're like, why are you doing this? This is really dangerous. Like, what's motivating you to do this? And Al says in his interview, he just is like, well, I figured the worst thing that could happen is I'll die. But then my record sales will go up. So it's a no-lose situation.
I love Al so much, man. He's so good.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
We're making an ad.
Napping ads.
I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
All right, you ready to open up some letters?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, here we go. We're starting off with this one. Hello, Matts. My name is Harley, and I just wanted to say how much of a fan of the podcast I am. I found your podcast this past January, and I've been listening to on every car ride, and I just caught up. I'm now finishing off the deep end, and I'm a self-prescribed alcoholic like yourselves, and I am very passionate about Al's persona and work. I wanted to extend a request. Are you looking for a guest on the episode since you've been gone? I'm a member of the a cappella world, particularly barbershop, and I would love to discuss the piece as well as Al's inspiration on the world of barbershop music. So I will say that we do already have a guest nailed down for since you've been gone. But Harley, if you want to send us any information about specifically what you just said, the inspiration that he has on the barbershop music world, I would love to read that on the actual episode. So please send that our way. But he said, thank you for being awesome, and remember to clean out your fridge. All right.
Very nice.
So the next one says, hello, Matt and Matt. First, a little background. My name is Tony. I'm 50 years old, and I've been a Weird Al fan for almost 40 years. When I was a kid, I had a much listened to dubbed cassette of In 3D that I'd gotten from a friend. I had to have the real thing, and on a fateful shopping trip to Kmart with my mom one day, I was in the music section and found the Dare to Be Stupid cassette. That puts me around 11 or 12 years old. This blew my mind. I thought 3D was all that Weird Al had. Dare to Be Stupid was the first piece of music I ever purchased, and at that point I realized that artists could have multiple releases. Although at 11 or 12 years old, I'm sure that worded that in a thought differently. Buying that tape put me on a path of loving music that has never stopped. So Dare to Be Stupid and Weird Al have always had a special place in my heart. The reason for this email is that throughout the years, I have purchased many, if not all, of Weird Al's physical media, mainly CDs, once they were available. Back then, every computer had a CD-ROM, and some of those Weird Al CDs had hidden content beyond just the music, and it would show up in a little file that opened in the CD drive on the computer. Now, I can't remember which CDs had this and what content it actually was, but I know that it existed. You may have already talked about this or are preparing to talk about it, as I'm behind on the current podcast episodes, just discovering the podcast earlier this year. I'm listening to the beginning, but I love the podcast, and I'd love to revisit some of these albums and songs that you've listened to throughout the years. Keep up the good work. I think I remember specifically that the entire VH1 Behind the Music, I think, was on the Running with Scissors CD. If you put it in your CD drive, you could watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that trend very well, of course, of like the hidden sort of content on a CD that you could get in the computer. I'm just looking. I saw, so there is a very small little Easter egg thing like that on Poodle Hat that I just saw, but I don't know. Poodle Hat's the only one I'm immediately seeing that had that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a ton. It was just like some pictures, it looks like. Unless it was... Oh, no, sorry. It's Running with Scissors.
Yeah, Running with Scissors had a lot. I think that was the first one that had that added to it.
The compact disc of Running with Scissors is an enhanced CD. When loaded into a computer, the disc displays a folder named Secret File. And in this folder, there is a movie file compiled with some scenes from There's No Going Home, a special Al did for the Disney Channel in 1996.
That's what it was. Okay. Well, we'll have to track that down and watch that too, because I actually remember a lot. I definitely watched that, and I think I think I have Running with Scissors over on CD over in the corner. So maybe
I oddly don't remember that at all.
I remember watching that because it was. I think I associated it in classic Al fashion. I think I associated it with the Behind the Music because I think he reused footage of it for a scene in the Behind the Music where he visits his family and they don't remember him. But
wow,
I'm sure it's actually a very sad thing to watch now, knowing what happened with Al's parents.
That's a fun relic, though. The whole idea of the hidden content on the CD. We talked about that before, like you like rewinding a CD from zero and bonus tracks, hidden tracks, like the way people manage to like hide stuff. It's not as easy to do that on the internet.
No, I mean, I think we've talked about this on this show before, but there was a time where there was hidden front tracks.
Yeah, start the CD and rewind from zero, and you could get like this pre-roll thing.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was great.
All right, so the next email says, hey, gang, first off, love the show, listening to and savoring every episode in order, which admittedly has me way behind since I started late, but it's so good I don't want to skip ahead and miss any of your banter. I was listening to your polka episodes, and I was thinking, if you're ever looking for a guest on a future polka episode, I'm sure I'm the only person who's ever interviewed Weird Al exclusively about his polkas. It was for a chapter of my first book, all about cover songs. I interviewed Bermuda Schwartz about the polkas as well. AV Club even ran an excerpt of it, and they sent a link to the AV Club. It says, I understand, sorry for the unsolicited pitch / fan letter, And I know you don't have that many guests, but, well, they must be very early in the show because, man, did we change that. But I just had the thought that maybe at some point you'd be like, oh, what can we say about yet another polka? And I would be there to help you out. So if not, no worries. Love the show. And then he said, P.S. Okay, no, he also was a regular on Dave and Ethan's last year.
Oh, nice.
We'll definitely have to check in. That was Ray that wrote that. I love that idea because
if we have a polka, an unclaimed polka, which we very well might coming right up down the. I mean, from here on out, every album's got a polka. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. I'm glad to know we have a polka expert on standby.
Yeah. All right. So
that's wonderful.
This next one came in from. Says the username is Veteran Yoda, and he says, "Hi guys, love the show. Stumbled across it on Spotify and have been binging older episodes and extolling the virtues of your show to everybody I know. I'm 46 and I grew up with Weird Al, and then I grew out of him, and now through your podcast, I've rediscovered the magic and wisdom of Al. So thank you so much. How come Matt never talks about the dark side of the new guy? ? I don't know what that necessarily means. Is that directed to you? And they're talking about Loser?
Well, no, they're talking. It's an even more obscure Wheatus reference. There was a movie that came out. I'm assuming this is what he's talking about. There was a movie called The New Guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember this
with
movie?
With DJ Quills. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And in that movie, there is a Wheatus song that is credited as Dark Side. And it's actually a remix of Wannabe Gangster.
Oh, okay.
That gets featured in the movie The New Guy. There's a whole weird, incredibly strange story. This is like just before my time in Wheatus, so I wasn't actually present for this. But the story, as I heard it, is that it was actually a producer at Sony who took the liberty of remixing Wannabe Gangster without asking the band if that was something they wanted.
Oh.
And then pitching it to The New Guy, and then getting it in the movie, and then the band finding out, like, hey, great news. This remix of your song that you've never heard has been approved for this movie. Isn't that fun? And Brendan was like, I guess. I guess that's fun.
There's so many weird stories with that, because I also know that Wheatus had the song Punk Ass Bitch be the theme song to a children's cartoon starring Jackie
Chan Adventures. Yeah.
And you had to change the lyrics because obviously Saturday morning cartoons weren't going to play You're Just a Punk Ass Bitch.
No. Yeah. A whole different set of lyrics. Funny enough, if we do that song live nowadays, we almost always will play the Jackie Chan version of it.
Love it.
Because it's more fun for us.
And it's probably super nostalgic for a very specific audience member.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a funny, weird thing that I think, especially back in I don't really know what goes on because we're independent nowadays, so I don't know exactly how it works. But at the time, it seems like they were just like, what's the olds, like, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
It was generally that kind of a vibe. And the presumption that, like, oh, well, if we come to them and say that we did this, but here's some money for the license for the movie, that will make all things better. And sometimes that works, but other times when you've changed someone's song, that's not always everyone's favorite thing to have happen.
It's really
just ask Coolio.
Yeah, it's really fun to me that Wheatus, the 90s is filled, the late 90s and early 2000s is filled with iconic teen films, and Wheatus found a way to get their songs into the two least remembered ones.
The one upside, everyone's still, the number of people who still come up to us and think that we are on the American Pie soundtrack, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, it must have been amazing to be on the American Pie soundtrack. And we're like, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been great. That would have been huge for us.
We were in Loser, which didn't get an actual physical soundtrack.
No. We were in nothing notable enough to get a soundtrack.
That's so funny.
Tragically.
All right. So they continue and said, anyway, these lyrics started bouncing around my head. I'm sure one of you knows the bass line to the original tune. And it says the Weird Al anthem. It says, his name is Matt, and he had a thought about Al. Al rings his bell, but no one reveres him that well. Now we take stock. Polkas, rap, and rock. He's letting us know the whole scoop. on why we should give a damn about Al, because he's just a dirtbag parody, baby. It's not actually nuanced or clever, baby. Now go listen to Weird Algorithm, baby, with me. And he wrote an extra verse. Matt 2 plays bass. He learned all of Al's whole catalog, not a sidekick. He gives a whole other point of view. They both speak and think of them geeks, letting us know the whole tale of why you should give a damn about Weird Al. So I'm gonna stop there. He rewrote the entire song, which is very impressive. So love this email so much.
I mean, what can I even say? The lyric rewrite, Matt Kelly getting to perform it for me live on the show. That's thank you, everyone.
Unfortunately, I'm going to read this email on the air. It's from our friend. It's our friend Ryan, who does the Jurassic Park cast. But it's too little. It's too late. He emailed us and said, "Hey, loved listening to the Frank's 2000-inch TV episode that came out today. If it's not too late, I'd love to be the guest on the Talk Soup episode because I love that song and would love to return as a guest if you need it." Ryan, we will definitely have you on as a guest. We very much had already recorded Talk Soup by the time I got this email, and I owe you a response. Fun thing, the mailbag is also when I check to see what letters we got over in our inbox. So
we didn't have a guest for Talk Soup, did we?
We didn't, but the episode had already been recorded.
Yeah,
we had already spoken our thoughts because we do stuff way too early.
We do.
All right, so this next one comes in from Odd Joe. And he says, "Hey, Matts, I'm an avid consumer of your podcast. I'm 57 years old, and I've been an allophile since his early work on the Dr. Demento days and his first album, which I still have the vinyl copy of. I love your insights and obscure facts that you provide, and they've led me to seek out videos on YouTube that I wasn't aware of. Keep up the good work. On a side note, here is a link to an article about something you might really enjoy. It's my new favorite streaming app. And it is a New York Times article about the Night Flight app, where you can get all types of obscure old horror movies to watch.
Very cool.
I'm not going to lie. I think the most impressive thing about this mailbag so far is I had no clue how many fans we had in the over 40 demographic. We've had 3 different emails that mentioned the ages of 46, 50, and 57, which I, in a million years, would have never guessed that the people who were there at the start of Al's career would be listening to our podcast.
I love that. A side note, this is funny because I'm not even sure. For all I know, this person is someone who contributed to this mailbag, but a gentleman. Wheatus just played at the time we're recording this. Wheatus just played a show in Pennsylvania. And after the show, someone came up to me who I think I couldn't tell exactly what came first, but definitely it was a huge fan of the podcast and specifically noted that they met you at the show we did in Wayne last summer.
Nice.
And that they've been following the podcast ever since and catching up and just all the nice things they have to say. And it's amazing. I mean, I guess in a way I'm not that surprised given Al's how far back his influence goes. So for, an older generation, I mean, a little bit older than us, but still people people who discovered him an album or two before we did.
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
Yeah. I think in my mind, I just thought this show is specifically for the people who discovered Al at Amish Paradise who are about to turn 40.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So the next letter comes from Mark. He says, in your last episode on Achy Breaky Heart, you were discussing how Al always gets permission from the artist when he's doing a parody, even though he doesn't have to. It was mentioned that no artist has been sued for doing a parody before. However, that isn't fully true. In fact, it was Weird Al's predecessor, probably the only other celebrity parody artist out there, Alan Sherman, who had been sued several times for copyright infringement. In his autobiography, The Gift of Laughter, Sherman talks about paying a substantial penalty for the parody of Matilda from his album My Son the Folk Singer. Bonus past episode fun fact, Weird Al's Carnival of Animals album, Wendy Carlos' studio was built inside of a Faraday cage.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know what that means. Can you elaborate on? Is that a big deal to be in a Faraday cage?
It's designed to block electromagnetic fields, so you're completely I don't know exactly why she would have done that, if it was an attempt to either protect her gear or protect herself from electromagnetic radiation. But the idea is supposed to be like, this is something that's used for like way more high intensity electronic. Like if you were in a Faraday cage and there were like lightning strikes all around you, like you would be protected from the lightning. That's my understanding of it.
Gotcha.
So why she would have done that, I'm not immediately sure. I'm not sure if that's because she was so ahead of the curve on this sort of stuff that it was actually like dangerous material, or if it had more to do with Wendy's preference to not be around too much. I don't know, but that's no small feat to make a studio inside a Faraday cage. That seems like that would take a lot of effort.
Well, I've got a very exciting email that might actually be a heartbreaking email. We'll find out in a second.
Oh God.
This one.
I'm sorry, really quick before you go. I did check and see, like, Alan Sherman did indeed get sued. In particular, it says on Wikipedia for 2 songs that he apparently thought were in the public domain, but they were not.
Oh, okay.
But still, he was sued for copyright infringement on. I don't see the result of the cases here. I don't know if they settled or what actually happened, but yes, he was sued twice for parodying songs that were under copyright. So that is interesting. I'm going to look into that further.
Yes.
For the future. I'm fascinated by that.
So this next email is from Paul. He says, "Hey guys, I was having dinner with a friend tonight and she mentioned that Wheatus is playing a show 5 minutes from my house the week of my birthday in August. So I purchased tickets for me and my wife and our 3 kids, and my friend bought tickets for her and her daughter. I'm super excited. I'm also excited for tomorrow's episode. Definitely a highlight of the week. All the best, Paul." Now, I think the upsetting news there is I don't think you're going to be at that show in August.
I might not be. He didn't say what city it is.
He did not say.
So there's a possibility I'll be there. The shows that the current American run of shows is these acoustic shows that it's been mostly Brendan and Gabrielle doing them, just the 2 of them. There was actually talk of me trying to join for a couple shows in August because I'm mostly around. I have one weekend where I'm going to be out of town doing something else, but maybe
all right,
I'll be there. If you're listening to this and you want to write again and let us know which show you're going to, I'll do my best.
Or just
I'll show up. If I know one person wants to see me specifically, that goes a long way. I'm just the bass player. That doesn't happen to me that often, guys. So if you want to see me, I'll drive to Altoona, Pennsylvania, or wherever you need me.
Yeah. I mean, if it's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, I'll join you.
There you go.
We'll just roll in together.
It will be. You should definitely go regardless. Don't just go because of me. It will be a great show. Brendan is a great performer.
He truly is.
Obviously.
Real talk, as someone who's seen Wheatus live like 8 times in the last 2 years. They put on a hell of a show. I wouldn't keep going just to see my friend Matt if I didn't have fun watching them perform.
There you go. The acoustic shows are really fun too. They're definitely that's all request, and he'll do all kinds of crazy covers and stuff. It's good fun.
So this is a lengthy one from the alias Tune Again. It says, "Hello, Matt and Matthew. Great news." And I gave you a heads up about this. Al's brain has been found. He said it also, and he sends us a link to it, which I quickly download it so that we have it for when we get to that point in Al's career, because that thing gets ripped off of the internet pretty much as quickly as it's found back onto the internet. It says, Al also definitely addressed traffic jam style parody on the Vanity tours. There was a video of him introducing the song and saying something along the lines of, "This is a Prince style parody." Covering isn't anything new for him. After he covered My Generation at least twice on the Stupid tour, where he beats up an accordion before performing One More Minute, and once in the 90s with Victoria Jackson for some reason. The question, what's your idea for Al's next tour? Mine would be like a Vanity tour, but for parodies. Fun question, what's your Al's song picks for a rhythm game? Also, regarding Airline Amy, I love that dueling guitar solo.
That's great. It's funny mentioning tour because I just saw apparently Bermuda did an interview recently and confirmed that Al and the band will be touring in 2025. That's breaking news. And I didn't even hear that directly from Bermuda, but I heard that through either Reddit or one of the Al forums that I frequent. that noted that is definitely happening. So no official dates or announcement or even where in the worlds they're going yet, but it looks like something's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, a part of me, we mentioned this on the show as well. Like a part of me loves the idea of him doing a combination of like the Vanity Tour, but also with parodies.
Yeah.
Like he actually has parodies that he's never played live.
Yeah.
And it would be great to expand the show that way. But also, given everyone's age and given just like where we're at, I think the thing I might want the most is one more just classic
big
Al
costume
tour with the costumes and the video production and all that kind of stuff. Like just one. I'm saying one last. They can do as many as they want, but it feels like, to a degree, it feels like things are maybe. I don't know. I might be talking out my ass. I don't know if things are winding down, but it feels like things have slowed down quite a bit for them. And if they are, if the costume tour does seem daunting, which I can only imagine it does, I would hope for one more of those. That would be my first choice, just to see one more of the show that I first saw when I was just a kid.
I'm going to say that I want to see Al do an hour-long polka medley. Just a whole tour, one single polka medley.
Wow. I mean, that would be... That also stresses me out. If I'm honest with you, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm just imagining poor Bermuda trying to play that beat for an hour straight.
And then, I don't know, a fun song for a rhythm game. Could you imagine? I'm thinking of like Guitar Hero and like Albuquerque's in there. Like you're just like for 17 straight minutes, you're just like tapping away.
For a rhythm game, we're thinking like, Guitar Hero or a Rock Band or any of that kind of thing. Is that what we're referencing?
I guess technically Dance Dance Revolution would fall in there. So like a song to dance to. Well, he doesn't have like any. I feel like doing a parody feels cheating in a rhythm game, so it would have to be an original. And I'm trying to think. I don't think he has a lot of dancey originals for a DDR, at least. I
mean, Traffic Jam.
Yeah, but that would work. That stops and starts so much.
That's true. And if we're doing, if the idea is a Guitar Hero style game or Rock Band, it's just got to be Genius in France. Yeah. That is the most like technically challenging. That's like top level, very, very hard Guitar Hero thing. That would be my pick for that. And if that's not danceable. That's a nightmare to dance to.
All right, we got an email from Dave, who is the admin of our Facebook group because I can't be depended on to post about our episodes when they come out. And he wrote, if you could have Al reuse a song in a new parody, what would it be? He said, for me, it's Safety Dance. I'm a huge Men with Hats fan, and I felt like it deserved much better. I wouldn't say song-wise. It's no secret that I am not the biggest Bedrock Anthem fan, and I feel like the career of Red Hot Chili Peppers is so filled with interesting singles that I would love to see Al tackle another like vintage Red Hot Chili Pepper song and do a little bit more with it than what he did with Bedrock Anthem.
That's fair. I mean, I definitely like Bedrock Anthem more than you do, I think. But what would it be? You know, the other one, I'm just thinking about, it feels weird to pull something older. Yeah. But I remember we talked forever ago about how wild it is that the only thing he ever did to reference Tom Petty was Stop Dragging My Car Around.
Yeah, good call.
Which in the world of Tom Petty's career feels like such a like
it's not even on his greatest hits record. Like
no, it's I mean, it was a single for sure, and it was a hit, but it borders on a deep cut in the world of Tom Petty's legacy now.
Yeah.
No one would name that song even in the top 5. Yeah, maybe something from Tom Petty, who I feel like Al must have really loved and just didn't ever revisit that way. So that would be for me. I would say do something with a Tom Petty track.
And then there was a second question. If Al was to choose an instrument that was not the accordion for the basis of his career, which would you like to hear him play? And he wrote, I could picture Al really rocking a xylophone. I honestly, I know it's not that far off from accordion, and I know that he provided this, especially on the early records. I would love to see Al with like a true 80s over the top synthesizer type situation where you've got like the 4 or 5 synthesizer stack situation. I bet that he would have been like prog rock level insanity on that.
I'm sure he is that good at the keyboards. Yeah. I mean, he definitely could pull that off. There's some video clips of them, not with the 4-tier thing, but there's video of him and the band playing in the 80s before Ruben joined, where Al just has a synthesizer in front of him. I think there's video of him playing Nature Trail to Hell without the accordion and playing it on an actual keyboard. Yeah, I don't know. I'll go in another direction and I'll pick another instrument that I think is cool but considered nerdy, which is like some sort of a clarinet.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
I feel like we need some more rock clarinet. That's another shout out to my faves, and They Might Be Giants, who managed to also get some clarinet into there. But I also think Al being a fan of theirs too, that would be a good transition. Get some more rock clarinet out in the world.
Dave actually sent us a bunch of questions, and Dave, I'm going to tell you to send a few more of the ones we didn't answer for the next mailbag. But there is one question he put in here that I think is going to be the basis of a bonus episode one of these days. Because he said, if you could hire Al to play a private event for just you, what 5 songs would you have him play? And that just seems ripe to me for a big ass, get a bunch of past guests on here and do a draft style where once someone grabs a song, it's not an option for anybody else. I think that would be a very fun cutthroat thing to do. So we're going to save that. We're nearing the bottom of the bag. I'm scratching here. There's a couple left. This one's from Jeff. It says, "Hi, Eminem." Not sure if I love that nickname for us. Here's my question. Do you have any updates on the Weird Al video game revival? I love the podcast. My friend Glenn Sullivan turned me on to your podcast a few months ago, and I'm so glad he did. I binge listened to catch up. Side note, I'm online friends with Bermuda through a vintage drumming forum, and I suggested that he has to check out the podcast. Not sure if he did, but fingers crossed. Thanks, Jeff D. So, John, if you're listening, thank you.
Yes.
Also, thank you to his friend Glenn. I guess we can talk about this here. I don't see any reason not to mention.
It's great timing because I actually was not on during a broadcast. I was intending to ask you about the status update on this very soon. So go ahead, Matt.
So what I will say is that we went to a place in New Jersey that our friend Jim Legrando found, and we were able to put the drive or the game into a drive, and we were able to play the game a little bit, and we had a camera crew film it, and I have that footage now, and if nothing else, I'm going to assemble it into a video that we can put out sometime this summer where you can watch us do the playthrough, so stay tuned for that. We would love to do more with it. We'd love to make it into like a nice little mini documentary that we can shop around. But for you, the listening audience, this summer we will at the very least release the footage of us playing this game. There is some really magical moments from that. So I'm so excited that this saga has come to not an end, but a very good middle.
Yeah, it is not out of the question, at least where we left it, is not out of the question that we might actually be able to, that this game might be playable for all.
Yeah, we're fingers crossed if we can make this happen.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to apologize that I probably don't know how to pronounce this person's name. It's a very short email they sent us. Dorsha, I believe is how it's pronounced. And she said... I like Money for Nothing, Beverly Hillbillies, Asterisk, and Alapalooza more than I should. Help me. To which I say, like what you want to like. Listen, we might be the Al experts, but like we're not the end all be all. It is okay to like things, and I say go and like what you want to like.
There you go. Agreed.
And then our last email.
And for what it's worth, I am a supporter of Money for Nothing, Beverly Hillbillies. I think that one's all right. I think that's underrated.
I think that's fair. And then our last one comes from Mervis, and he says, "Just wanted to say, you guys rule, and I need to know what your favorite pizza is. Also, you should record a cover of a Weird Al song, like What's the Hold Up? P.S. What's the song that plays at the end of the podcast from that little banjo-y jingle? Thank you. So I'll address the last one first. That's actually just a random recording of my grandfather who introduced Weird Al's music to me. He had a Dixieland band, and he went and recorded an album in a studio one day, and that was just a little instrumental piece that they played while warming up, and I was like, "Ooh, this is this feels appropriate to like end the episodes of the podcast."
Totally.
So that's what that is. It is available on Bandcamp. I digitized all of his recordings and put them on a Bandcamp. I think it's called Jack Gephardt Archive. I'll link it in this episode description if you want to check it out. And as far as the record a cover song, I mean, I'm down. I can play guitar and somewhat sing. Matt can play bass. We could do a nice acoustic version of our favorite Al songs.
We've referenced it a couple times that I did at one point do a cover of a Weird Al song for a band that I had been playing in, and we didn't record it. We just did it live, but we are approaching that song. So this is a good opportunity to revisit that, and maybe that's when we can take a look at it. I don't know. We'll see.
Can I ask a quick question? Was it an original or a parody that you covered?
An original.
Okay. Ooh, I think okay. I think I've got. Ooh. I'm assuming it's on the album we're about to talk about.
Oh, I've already said too much.
Okay. And I've said before, I actually did a full set of Weird Al parodies. As for my favorite pizza,
oh yeah, I forgot about
pizza. I'm not saying I don't like pizza. Don't get me wrong. I love pizza. But when you're a kid and you eat pizza a lot, it's not my go-to anymore. Like if there's pizza at a party, I'm going to enjoy a pizza. But I have two types of things that I will normally eat in the pizza world. Where I live, very nearby, is a place called Double Decker Pizza that does a thing called an Inside Out, which is basically a deep fried cannoli. Or not cannoli, calzone, where they fold the pizza in half and then they deep fry that and hand it to you and you eat it like a big ass sandwich. It's fantastic. If I'm just getting a regular pizza, I'm a meat boy. So I usually do a sausage and bacon combo, and then I have a little thing of hot honey that I drizzle all over the pizza for some extra flavor and some kick to it. So that's my answer. Matt, how about you? I know that meat is not normally a thing for you, so I'm assuming it's either plain or some type of like veggie combo.
Yeah, well, I do eat meat, although my wife is vegan, so we eat at home. I eat vegan exclusively, but if I go out and I'm ordering pizza or wherever I am, I will definitely get meat stuff sometimes. But when it comes to pizza, I'm actually first and foremost something of a purist, and I actually just want the standard cheese pizza from a place, like especially if it's somewhere I've not been before and I'm like seeing what I think about it. Gotta get just the most basic slice possible, because if that's not good, I'm not interested in the rest of what you got going on. But I'm super into pizza. I love it. I have eaten at just about every like notable New York City pizza spot that makes it on the list of like the best pizzas around. I've had them all. I have bounced around Italy eating every pizza I can get my hands on. I had a pizza in a Neapolitan in Naples, one of their like 150-year-old pizza places. I went there in 2019, and I think about that pizza pretty much every day and how much I want it back in my life. And again, that's margarita pizza. Like that's usually my go-to. That's what I want. But yes, I'm a huge fan of good pizza.
We should talk about very quickly the trip that we took to New Jersey to play this Weird Al game.
Yes.
We got there a little early so that we could go to some Kevin Smith sites. So we went to the Quick Stop.
Fairly close to Red Bank, yeah.
So we went to the Quick Stop and we went to the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, and Jim, who was with us, was so excited to go get these sandwiches. We walked to the sandwich shop only to find out that it was closed for that particular month while they were on vacation, and that they would be back the following month, which was devastating. And we were all hungry, and we stopped at a pizza place, and I think everybody enjoyed their pizza except for me. Who decided to be a little experimental and step outside of his comfort zone and get a cheesesteak pizza. And what I received, to the best way to describe it, was that 90% of what was underneath the cheese was onion with just a little bit of meat. And then for the cheese part of the cheesesteak pizza, what could only be described as Kraft singles.
Yeah, they did. They went with American cheese. They went with a real. I mean, for a cheesesteak, that's sometimes a vibe.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting choice.
I think
both for the pizza place and for Matt Kelly.
You all
it was an
watched me
interesting
take
choice.
2 bites and then just walk over to the trash can and throw it out.
Yeah, poor Matt Kelly just tossed it. We're like, oh, do you need to get another one? And you were like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I did not want to go. I did not want to go back in there and face them. I think I just stopped and got food on the way home after we played the demo.
It was a shame because it was. My pizza was actually quite good.
Everyone's pizza was good. I
Yeah.
just rolled the dice. I'm not going to promote them. I didn't give a very positive review, but
no, I don't remember their name anyway. But if you're in Red Bank, check out the only pizza place they have.
Yeah, right by Jay and Silent Bob's Secret
recreate
Stash.
our experience.
Dude, nothing was more. It was like we were walking through a zombie movie. It was so empty in the streets of Red Bank.
It was
that
weird.
day.
I would have not thought Red Bank was like a holiday town because what was that? February we were
It
there.
was like
or March.
It was like Tuesday in a February, but yeah, it was dead. It was absolutely dead.
There was no one there.
We have one last thing, and then we'll bounce. Well, I guess first I'll go to you, Matt. This is coming out mid-June. What's Wheatus? I think you're on tour with Wheatus at the time that people are listening to this episode.
If this is coming out in mid-June, I'm probably in Europe with Wheatus doing a handful of shows.
This will be the 14th of June specifically.
The 14th of June. If you're listening to this, then I am about to play the last Wheatus show of that tour at Download Festival, which is pretty exciting. We are playing on a we're playing on a bill with Queens of the Stone Age, which seems insane to me. They're definitely better than we are, so check out some of our set and then go watch Queens of the Stone Age. That's what I would recommend. And yeah, then after that, we're mostly home. And we go to a bunch of American shows in the fall with Bowling for Soup.
Nice.
In September.
Nice.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is that if you happen to be attending San Diego Comic-Con this summer, and you're debating on what time that you want to get to San Diego Comic-Con, well, what I can say is that Matt and I will be holding down the Geekscape booth pretty much the entire weekend. San Diego Comic-Con. Come and find us in the small press area. Say hello to us. We're going to be right next to the Troma booth, so it shouldn't be too hard to find us because they certainly make a spectacle of themselves, and we love it. But I'm just saying, like, Thursday morning seems like a really good time to be in San Diego.
And just get there on time, guys.
Yeah.
Don't arrive late.
Yeah, there might be more information on why we say that very soon, but in the meantime, yeah, just like Thursday morning and early afternoon, like you should be already in San Diego is what we're saying.
Comic-Con starts on Thursday, so don't be late.
Exactly, 100%, and we'll be back next week with more Weird Algorithm.